feel like I have to call this like Drew's Google corner, because that's been like the biggest kind of shift in the media landscape pretty much over the last 6 months. Really the full year. I mean, I know Subi, I think everyone's probably heard it maybe 15 million times that you've mentioned GA4 on every webinar. And now that it's here, obviously we have to talk about its impact, and specifically around, I think, the Automotive Standards Council. For those who aren't aware, it's basically a standardization of event tracking, parameters, conversion tracking. And, we've seen it's great because it allows for consistency in data from a Google Analytics standpoint. So, whether you're on Roadster or AutoFi or different types of digital retailing tool, that conversion information is going to be the same across those tools, which is great if a dealer is switching platforms. They get that consistency and that historical reporting, but it's been a challenge. Yeah.
I want to add to that real quick, just to set the tone for everyone who may not be aware. The council is structured with a bunch of all different vendors from all different walks of the digital and advertising realms coming together to set these standards together collaboratively, which is not something that's been done before. So when you go from one to the other and you transition from one service to another, like Drew has mentioned, it's never been apples to apples. But this approach, this willingness to come together by a lot of these thought leaders, and we're lucky to have our own Lauren Sheridan on the council, it's allowing for those standards to exist where people can't shy away anymore from some of these, horrible results and creative definitions of success. And it's far more easy to kind of see it across the board. So I just wanted to add a little bit of color. Did I misspeak on any of that you guys want to
say? No, you nailed it. I think that's a much better explanation, a much more complete explanation. But what we've seen, and obviously, as GA4 is rolled out, I'm sure there's people on the webinar right now who have had issues, because it's so new. It's a entirely different way to establish reporting and track data across your advertising. So there have been hiccups, but by and large, I think we're learning so much about how we can leverage that tool and some of the things we didn't even anticipate in GA4 and how it'll kind of contribute to our advertising campaigns. I think specifically, for those who aren't aware, vehicle ads and Performance Max, this has been another big shift. In September, those different ad types were combined into one. So Performance Max is basically an ad that covers all of Google's digital inventory. So Gmail, YouTube, search, Google Display Network. Vehicle ads is VIN-specific listings at the top of a search engine results page. And those became one. So what that means is now you can include your inventory feed as an asset, just like you would a video or a graphic asset. And I connect that to GA4 because all of those different ad types are based off of a maximized conversion smart bidding strategy in Google. So to not have correct data from the website is severely going to impact performance in those ad campaigns. So there's a real tie to data validity and that data consistency impacting the performance of these campaign types. And I know, speaking for Stream, they're pretty successful campaigns by and large. So, we're putting a sizable amount of budget behind those. So if we can't trust that data and can't trust that it's accurate or actually representing what we consider a hard conversion where lead information is transferred, then, we're going to have some poor advertising that's not going to perform how we want it to.
I'm glad you brought that up. Just the whole, first of all, I'm going to say this one more time, probably 10 more next year, but I don't think I'm still getting people reach out. I don't think people understand that GA4 is not like the others that have come, like one of these things is not like the other. It doesn't speak to the old version like the others used to. This is completely kind of speaking very different languages. So you can't go and historically pull information and have it mean the same thing in the future. So if you have not yet set up GA4 or you feel like your partners haven't set it up correctly and you need another set of eyes, reach out. It's not necessarily a service we provide, but we also know if you ever end up becoming a Stream client 2 years down the road, we would definitely like to have you set up correctly. So we're willing to help you navigate that. It's an asset. It's a business asset of yours that should be set up the right way. So if you don't know, raise your hand. I can either connect you with one of my teammates or to some resources that can help you get that going. That's definitely something you need for your business by the end of the year. I'm going to challenge you all to just make sure that they are set up correctly for your business's sake. All right, now that I am going to get off that horse, what else do we have in Drew's Google Corner that needs to be addressed?
Yeah, I think I could fill like maybe 17 different webinars on this one topic, and you know what I'm going to say. But search generative experience for those of you who are not aware, exactly.
That was me taking my shot every time Drew talks about it.
Every time I talk about it, right? It's an AI generated search engine result page listing on Google that's currently in a beta. Essentially, what Google's doing is pulling information from across the entire web to try to provide the most comprehensive and accurate information for a user's general search query. And if you're not in the beta, essentially it creates you click a button that says generate, and then it provides all the information as well as links that you could ever want based around your search. We've seen differing results based on what the queries look like. And obviously there's a lot of testing and retesting and experimenting that Google's doing before they roll it out to the general public. But really this has a wide reaching impact from both a paid ad standpoint to organic search. So this is something, we're starting to have a lot of conversations about anticipating some of the changes and how that will affect website traffic, website conversions, interactions with Google Business Profile. I think more to come on this topic. I promised myself I'll keep this section under a minute because the more I go, the more I uncover. I'm like, well, I should talk about that. But search generative experience, I think, has the potential to be a massive, landscape shifting rollout from Google. Everything's going towards AI, and we're just kind of scratching the surface at the beginning of it. So, it could, when we do the 2024 recap, we might be talking completely different about search generative experience. So something, to research and get used to and understand as we kind of move into an AI kind of focused Google landscape.
And I just wanted to jump in and mention, Drew had mentioned that it's in a beta, but anyone can really test it right now. So if you go to labs.google.com and under Google search, it says help shape the future of information. Click on get started, and then you can enable the generative experience in Google. So you can actually see what this looks like. I think that's really, really important for everyone to kind of just comprehend what that new experience looks like, because honestly, it was very different from a click-through perspective than I think any of us were really expecting to see. So just wanted to put that out there.